Hi, everyone. Harry here to talk about the balance of the day in court. We already talked about the gag order hearing, and that was probably the most important. The most dramatic moment of the day had to be when Judge Merchan turned to Trump's lawyer and said, "You are losing all credibility." And that was after the lawyer, Blanche, could not come up with any law to suggest that it made a difference to retweet or to put on social media something that had already been tweeted by another. And then even worse, he forwarded this specious distinction that Trump, whom he said knows very well about the gag order, was fine if he were responding to political attacks, which is what he asserted he was doing vis-a-vis Michael Cohen in particular. And that just, the distinction makes no sense. The gag order says you can't attack witnesses, and B, it really wasn't accurate to call it. They're just having a pissing match about credibility. He called Cohen a perjurer again and again. So very rough moment for Trump lawyer in court in front of Trump. And, he has to try to scramble to restore credibility, except Trump is so insistent on having his counsel and everyone around him be tough and to take certain stances and to not do anything that makes Trump look bad, that it's a much more daunting task for Todd Blanche. So, as I've said before, a logical way to try to approach this case would be to say, yeah, he's kind of a sleazy guy, but he's not a criminal. And that's going to be very telling that he's not doing that. And he's sticking to the extent he can that Trump, just never did anything. He's holding to his story about not having had sex with with Kathy McDougal or Stormy Daniels. They're going to be testifying now, and he'll try to impeach their credibility, and it probably won't get anywhere. And Trump's probably not going to testify himself. So the whole thing is a very, very uphill battle, basically, to say everybody's lying. And it's an unnecessary one, but Trump as client perhaps made it necessary. All right. So today, though, after the gag hearing, David Pecker, the former CEO of the National Enquirer, continued to testify. And it's sort of, it feels like a kind of bonfire of the vanities, a vision of another world, even though it's only 10 years ago, but where the Enquirer first had huge circulation, and I guess it still does, but this agreement they made to catch and kill, so blatantly not what journalists do. They have the core meeting where they say, Peck says, "I'll be your eyes and ears out there, and basically we'll do things that favor you and that trash your opponents." Remember, Trump had a ton of them, Ben Carson and Cruz and Jeb Bush and the like. Pecker continues on this testimony. He's oddly kind of affable and even a little jocular. I mean, he's talking about things that are actually illegal because they were giving money. He does $150,000, I think, to McDougal and $30,000 to Dino the doorman to smother that story. But it's 100% clear that it's all done to help the campaign. So in that sense, it really is making it a very strong kind of continuing story that will, when Stormy Daniels comes into view in the aftermath of the accessed Hollywood tape, make it clear that it's a political crisis for the campaign, and that's why they're doing what they do, and that's why they cover up the nature of the payments and the like. So that's all the DA's kind of narrative here. But Pecker continues to explain things in some detail. He'd gone through Dino and was on Kathy McDougal when trial adjourned for the day. So Thursday, he'll be back on the stand. No court on Wednesday talking about her. And then remember, Pecker is only, he sort of withdraws. It'll be interesting to hear why if they cover it before the Stormy Daniels. He doesn't want to be personally involved, doesn't want to pay the money to Stormy Daniels, and it's left to Cohen at Trump's orders to actually pay her off. So we have what the actual operation of the catch and kill. We have Cohen at the real center of it, Trump telling Pecker, keep Cohen in the loop. Cohen is at first irate about the Dino story because that story seems to have been false, that Trump fathered a child with a housekeeper, but he, understands that the payoff is to protect Trump's political fortunes, and so that's all fine. And they just kind of go through this sleazy and illegal at least in one sense, which is that the National Enquirer was in essence doing campaign contributions to Trump. They actually had were charged and had a non-prosecution agreement, but that's why Pecker is testifying. You might have thought he seems still like pretty comfortable with Trump and vice versa. You might have thought that it would be a more arm's length or bristling kind of relationship in court. It doesn't seem to be that way, but he's still, detailing everything. And the testimony is quite bad for Trump because it really sets up what we're going to be, culminating in Stormy Daniels and a scheme that's obviously intended to keep the information from voters, and that therefore, fits very well into the charges of the 34 felonies to cover up the nature of the payments. So more Pecker to come, and then I suspect they'll march chronologically. Kathy McDougal, I think, will be next, and then very possibly Stormy Daniels. Talk to you later. Thanks for tuning in. If you enjoyed this video and other Talking Feds content, please take a second to like and subscribe. Talk to you later.